current New York City Mayor Eric Adams has withdrawn from the mayoral race. As we were all aware, Mayor Adams was locked in a four-way contest with former Governor Andrew Cuomo, Republican Party nominee Curtis Sliwa, and New York State Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani. Now, Mamdani is the favorite to win, has about 45% of the vote among those who were polled. Now, the thinking among political analysts was that the opposition to Mamdani had to consolidate around a single candidate to avoid splitting the vote. Now, Mayor Adams was polling at around 7%, which to me just seems to indicate that the voters who were polled didn't know what Mayor Adams stands for or his accomplishments to increase prosperity and the quality of life for New Yorkers during his administration. However, to get the message out about his accomplishments, a candidate needs money, and Mayor Adams, in his speech announcing his withdrawal from the campaign, cited constant media speculation and the campaign finance board's decision to withhold millions of dollars in funding, both of which have undermined his ability to raise funding to continue the campaign. Mayor Adams also issued a warning about extremism growing in politics, where young people are radicalized to hate the city and to hate America, with political anger growing into political violence. The mayor warns against using local governments to advance divisive agendas. He urges New Yorkers to beware of those who seek to destroy the very system we built together over generations. That is not change, he says. That is chaos. The mayor urges New Yorkers to choose leaders not by what they've promised, but by what they've delivered. Mayor Adams is a class act. Now, he's the sitting mayor, and yet he's stepping aside when logic would seem to dictate that Governor Cuomo should have stepped aside after losing to Zohran Mamdani in the primary. And Cuomo's campaign during the primary seemed lackluster by all accounts. However, and these are just my views, I don't attribute Governor Cuomo's primary campaign to a lack of energy on his part. I attribute it to his shock and realization at what the Democratic Party of New York City had become. It's become the Democratic Socialist Party in the most capitalist city in America and the world. And what does that indicate? The Democratic Socialists are browbeating New Yorkers, in my view. They're flooding the streets with illegal aliens, placing key individuals in roles in government, and making noise. Lots and lots of noise. Now, most people, when faced with that type of constant blathering noise, would probably try to pacify rather than push back, because the Bible even tells us if you argue with a fool, you'll have no rest. And that's what's been happening. There's been a steady exodus of the tax base out of New York. Even Governor Cuomo has said he'll leave New York if Mamdani is elected. Regardless, the Bible gives us a message of hope. A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. So if there are enough of the wise still left in New York City, and that's an issue as well, they might just want to move to Florida, but if there are enough wise still left in New York City, we will hear them speak at the ballot box. After Mayor Adams' withdrawal from the race, Mamdani had the nerve to call Mayor Adams radical and extremist. Excuse me, what? Who's radical and extremist? Mamdani is a free Palestine radical who stands at any podium and screams about seizing the means of production. Now, in 4 years in the state assembly, he hasn't passed one bill, not one. Now, he can't govern. Now, that's what his dry spell in the state assembly indicates. And his mother, the movie director Mira Nair, had the nerve to call for the Academy Awards ceremony this year to exclude Israeli actress Gal Gadot from the award ceremony. Now, his father is a radical college professor at Columbia University, which was the center of anti-Israel protests during the Biden administration. The family supports Palestine even after the October 7th massacre, which tells us all we need to know. Now, finally, about the mayoral race between Cuomo and Sliwa. Now, people have their preferences. In my ideal scenario, it would be great if one of these leaders stepped aside and campaigned for the other, as Mayor Adams might. Now, the mayor has said that while his mayoral campaign is over, his career as a public servant is not. His withdrawal from the mayoral race was the selfless act of a dedicated public servant. And this brings to mind what Denzel Washington said about acting awards, which are not his focus. He's even voted for another actor to win in his category when he was nominated. And he said it's because man gives the award, but God gives the reward. Now, those are wise words from a man who's been awarded by man and rewarded by God. And I don't know about anybody else, but that sounds like church to me. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.